Okay, girls, the second part of this video is going to talk about types of decimals. This time I'm going to type here. I'm not going to type, I'm actually going to write, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but I need it because I wanted you to take notes in a certain way. So the second part is types of decimals. Okay, so there are three types of decimals. So we're going to write them down. The first part is what is called an exact decimal. It also is called a terminating decimal. Terminating decimal. Also called an exact decimal. And are the decimals that we have been working so far with. Are those decimals that end. Decimals that end. In other words, they do not go forever. An example will be, let's say, 0.124. It ends there, it doesn't repeat itself, it just ends there. Fantastic. Then there is another type of decimals that are called repeating decimals. They are also called recurring decimals. And these are decimals that continue and then this is where I miss you girls to be in class, endlessly. So I'm going to write that down. Are decimal numbers that continue endlessly. But some of its digits are repeated at a regular interval. But where some digits are repeated at a regular interval. An example of these types of decimals are, for example, if I write 0.55555, and that it goes like that forever. Okay, those ones are called repeating decimals. Now, there is a third. Now, let's do something here. First, I'm going to, you please do the same thing. I'm going to highlight here. Where do I have the highlighters? Perfect. With this highlight, I like this one. Okay. Highlight this one and highlight this name here, decimal or recurrent decimals. Fantastic. With another color, I'm going to write the third type, and I'm going to write it with a different color. I'm going to use a blue pen here because we don't cover this in year 7. You do it in year 8. but I want to be very clear that there is a third type of decimals, so that when you see it in year 8, you say, ah, okay, I know that there's also another type of decimal that exists. There's a third type of decimals that are called non-terminating non-repeating decimal. And as its name says, it's a decimal that is going to continue forever, but it doesn't repeat itself. It doesn't have any digits that repeat itself. So I'm going to write that down. It's a decimal. I'm going to do here 2 points. And lastly, with not group of digits repeating. Now, because it doesn't have any pattern, there are no group of digits repeated. This is an important characteristic of this type of decimals that do not apply to the previous ones that we just covered here. And as these non-terminating, non-repeating decimals cannot be written as a fraction. And if you go back to your notes of Wednesday when we talk about family of decimals, because it cannot be written as a fraction, this means that it doesn't belong. This type of decimal do not belong to the rational numbers. It doesn't belong to these. This is important, very important, I think, here. Please highlight this one with a different color. So I'm going to use a green one here, and I'm going to say they're not terminating decimals and not repeating decimals. Now, as I said, and I'm going to make that note here with a different color. Let's use the pink one to say this is covered in year 8. So it's not part of our course in year 7, but I just wanted to mention it so you know that there is a third type of decimals. Okay, this video is going too long, so in the third part of this video I'm going to do some examples.